Welcome to the back stories and this very sweet and gentle spine mobilizer. We're starting standing, feet are parallel, simple rolling up and down standing. You can bend the knees a little bit. Now we're starting with rolling down, simply folding forward, starting with bringing the chin to the chest, then folding the upper body forward, rounding the spine, bending the knees a little bit, and then coming all the way down. You can either stretch your hamstrings a bit and stretch out those legs, or if you want to be even more gentler on your legs, simply keep these knees bent, then pull the navel in and roll up into standing. So while you're rolling up and down, we want to support our back a little bit by engaging the core, and the easiest way to do that is to pull the navel in, make your waistline a little bit narrower, lifting the chest, so even when we're folding forward, we have a little bit of an engagement in the core. We're not simply collapsing, and we're trying to elongate that whole back line, the whole back body, more than we're trying to simply roll down. So from the image, we're rolling over something. Now let's do that with a slight twist to it. We're bringing both hands together, interlacing the fingers, and now push forward, rounding the back, and then come back upright into standing, opening the chest, circling the hands back to the hips, interlacing the fingers, pressing forward, navel in, inhale up, relax those shoulders come down, open and circle the hands back to the hips. When you bend forward, push forward, rounding the back, bend those knees, inhale, come up all the way into standing, crown of your head towards the sky or ceiling, and again. So now you're bending over an imaginary barrel, a big ball, so you're rounding and pulling the navel in at the same time, narrowing the waistline, supporting your back and lengthening so that you really lengthen from your hips or your heels all the way to the crown of your head. And this time, again, a little bit more difficult. This time we're staying in that bent position. So even when we're coming upright, we stay on our little imaginary chair. So push those heels back and down, round forward, rounding the back, then inhale, come up, lift the chest, but stay down in your little squatty position. Almost there, just a few more. Exhale, pull forward, round the back. Inhale, come up, circle the arms, and there we go. Nice one. Now stay in standing, come into a warrior pose. Big lunge position, right foot is forward, left foot is backwards. And then come into that low lunge, lifting the arms overhead. And simply exhale and come back. Stretch the leg fully out. So when you come down, we're stretching our hip flexor of the left leg and opening the chest, and we're strengthening the upper back body by pulling these arms backward. So I want you to have those thumbs pointing backwards and go all the way as much as possible without going into an overextension of the back. We don't want to do a back bend here. We want to stay straight, navel pulled in slightly to support your back, and go all the way down in your low lunge for that hip stretch. Relax those shoulders and then change sides. Left leg to the front, right leg to the back. Start in a warrior pose, big stance. And then inhale, bring those arms up. Exhale, pull the navel in slightly, keep the navel pulled in, and come into that hip flexor stretch. Hip flexor stretches are so important to release the back, so the back is not pulled into a position that we don't want to, and we can stay upright. Again, inhale, come up, release those shoulders down, pull those thumbs backwards. Imagine your elbows are pulled up and behind you. Keep your balance. Inhale, inhale up, lift, and then stretch both legs out and release. Do that just a few more times, coming a little bit lower into your hip flexor stretch, and then release. Dynamic stretching here, very efficient. And last time, very good. Come into a warrior two pose, so one foot is pointed outwards, the other 45 degrees in. We are starting with the left knee. Left knee is bending. Bend all the way over to the side with the upper body and come back parallel and stretch the leg out. Arms are in a T position, palms are facing upwards. Keep the arms in a T position when you bend to the side and come back into standing. This is like a triangle warrior two variation, trying to elongate that whole side body here. Follow with your gaze your upper hand, so when you are flexing over, stretching that right side, look to your right hand, look to the ceiling or sky, and then come back into center. We're changing sides, so you want to rotate now your left foot in and the right foot is pointing outwards 90 degrees. Then bend the right knee, shift over to the side, lift the arms up, keep those arms rotated outwards. I like to stretch my fingers out as well to release the forearms a little bit. The pinky finger is trying to come up all the way to the ceiling or sky, and your thumb is trying to touch the ground. Very good. Compare both sides a little bit to get a feeling of how both of your sides are doing. If one side is better than the other, don't judge it. Just an observation to get to know you a little bit better. And then release. We're coming all the way down into all fours. Very simple exercise here. Contracting, releasing. Contracting, pulling the navel in, rounding the back. And then releasing. Lifting the chest and your chin a little bit. So the movement has two main parts. One is happening in the upper back and one is happening in the lower belly. So we want to bring the lower belly in when we're crunching and pushing the upper back out. So we're rounding all the way and not just in one specific position that you find very easy to do. So make sure that you're shifting your hips, pulling the navel in, opening all the back line of your spine and not just the part that you like doing. Then we bring one arm in, right arm is coming out and in, thumb is pointing upwards, working the upper back here a little bit, and then change to the left side. Rhythm is we're stretching out twice while we're extending, then pulling the elbow in, and then after the second stretch out, lift out, we're putting the hand back down, crunching, and then changing side, lifting twice the left hand, pulling the navel in, inhaling, lifting the arm, putting the hand back down, and crunching once more, right side. Stretches out twice. So your spine is doing the same thing all the time, just crunching and releasing. And the arms are having a little party, stretching out twice every side. So the elbow comes in once. The second time you would pull the elbow in, you're simply putting the hand down and doing a little crunch. Very good. If you don't quite get it, do whatever feels good to you. Lifting the hand, pulling the elbow in, and changing sides. Now, the legs are going to have a little party. Same principle, we're kicking the right leg out twice, then bring the knee back to center, crunching, and then lifting the left leg, crunching, pulling the knee in, pulling your navel in, stretching out, putting down, rolling, crunching, right side, kicking out. When you kick out, flex the foot, you get more control in your whole leg and especially in your buttocks. And then change side, left leg is kicking out, foot is flexed, and if you come in with the knee, then point the foot. Makes it a little bit easier to then put the knee down because the foot is already pointed. Now float with the head up and down, don't overstretch the neck, nor over flex the neck. It should feel good. Open your shoulders, Shoulders are pulling out to the sides. And have those legs stretch out, lifting, coming back in, rounding. We are having one last go with the left leg, and then we're putting it all together. Leg and arms diagonally are working. Start with the right leg and the left arm, crunching in, same thing, lifting again. Now putting everything back to the floor and change side. Right arm, left leg, lifting, crunching back in, rounding, lifting, elongating, and putting everything back together. So this is kind of the finale here. Everything that you've learned, put it all together. Foot is flexing when you're kicking out. Foot is pointing when you're pulling in. When you're rounding, pull your navel in. Contract the abs. Make the waist narrower. For the shoulders, keep them floating. Keep them relaxed. Work those shoulder blades sliding over your rib cage. No contraction in your trapezius. Stay open. Head in line with the whole spine. Lifting the chin. Pulling the chin to the chest. Get the rhythm, because now we're doing a bonus. Something very nice to finish up with. So when you're lifting the right leg and the left hand, swim the arm in and then putting it back down. So you're staying with the arm up, swing the arm to the outside, elbow in, and then stretch back out. Left arm, stretch out, swim, stroke it back, turn it in, and then stretch the arm back out. Right arm, lifting, left leg is kicking back, swinging up, and then lifting. Very good. So the hand doesn't come back in, it turns out and lifting. Very good. Try that a few more times. Right arm, palms are facing towards the feet or the hips, and imagining you're pushing water away like the ocean that we're having here. Keep the rhythm. You should know the rhythm by now. Belly is pulling in and arms are swimming now. Circling, opening, and then lifting all the way up again. This is so beautiful. I hope you enjoyed that. Then lie on your back, dynamic T stretch here. Open the arms to a T and then fold the knees all the way onto one side. Knees are bent 90 degrees, 90-degree bend in your hips as well. So start lying on your right hand side and then bring the left arm up and over, big circle until the back hand touches the floor behind you, and then come back over. We're rotating in the spine so the knees stay one on top of another. Your hip points are staying stacked one on top of another, and simply your spine, your chest, and your head are turning. Now, if you feel like it, if your floor allows it, you can circle the arm behind your head all the way to the back and then come back in a big circle. If you're having sand or a very smooth floor, this is really nice because you get to do this rotation without having to lift the arm and carry it. So we're engaging less muscles that could counteract with that opening and rotation that we want to do. And another variation could be to stretch out the upper leg, doing a little bit of hamstring stretch here and really making sure that the hips stay stacked on top of another, and just keep opening either with a big circle over your head or flipping the arm over if you don't have a smooth floor. If you're at the beach, this is a must do. And then change sides to the other side of the flip over, or just put the knees onto the other side. Now both knees are on your left. We're starting lying on the left side, and then come up and over with your right arm until the back hand touches the sand or ground. And you do want to follow the arm movement with your head. So you're turning the head from one ear to the other. And here we can also have a little bit of a difference between the right and the left side. Again, no judgment. This is all natural, we're not symmetrical. So just to getting to know yourself a little better of what's going on. And then if you can change to that circling motion with the arms staying on the ground, circling up and over behind your head, all the way onto the other side. And when you're circling, make sure that your knees stay on top of another, the hip points on top of another. And if you're feeling like it, you can go a little bit further and stretching the upper leg out. Very nice variation of this last exercise. I hope you enjoyed our spine mobilizer. Next time we're doing hip strengtheners, so I hope I'll see you there. Have a great day. See you soon. Bye.
Yes, I believe.